At this moment, the facts. The man at the center of the controversy is Nnamdi Kanu, the founder and leader of Indigenous People of Biafra IPOB, long a figure of intense debate and polarizing views across Nigeria. Just days ago, a federal high court in Abuja convicted him on 7 counts of terrorism, ruling that his broadcasts and directives to IPOB supporters incited deadly attacks on security forces and civilians. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. The verdict has stirred reactions far and wide. Some see it as justice served, a necessary step in upholding national unity and the rule of law. Others view it as a politically charged act that may widen existing fractures in Nigeria, particularly in the southeast. Now about that headline, the one saying Kanu threatened banditry if not released. I checked leading Nigerian media outlets and the recent coverage of the ruling. I found no credible record or verified reporting that Kanu made such a threat. The major stories, including the court verdict, reactions from government and civil society, make no mention of a statement in which Kanu warned of banditry or nationwide insecurity tied to his release. So why then is the headline circulating at all? A few possibilities emerge. It may be a misrepresentation, a distortion of broader rhetoric of discontent or of statements by sympathizers rather than Kanu's own words. It could be misinformation, a social media rumor exaggerated or invented to inflame tensions or push a particular narrative. It might reflect fear and speculation. People concerned that a life sentence for Kanu, who still commands sizable support, could spark unrest, violence or even insurgency if sections of his followers felt betrayed. We must be careful. In a country already battling widespread insecurity, using charged words like banditry or terrorism brings heavy weight. As argued in a recent commentary by a Media Watch organization, misunderstandings around what constitutes banditry versus terrorism can cripple clarity and worsen our national security response. Now for some context around the fallout of Kanu's conviction, the appellate court has already struck out his rights violation suit, meaning his claims of mistreatment in custody have been dismissed as academic, since he's now in prison following the life sentence. But even as the courts move on, some voices are calling for a political solution. For instance, Alex Otti, governor of Abia State, has said a strategy is being activated to secure Kanu's freedom, though it remains unclear how that squares with his life sentence. Meanwhile, some commentators are warning that conflating dialogue with criminals or negotiating with bandits while applying maximum penalty to a separatist leader could erode faith in consistency and fairness. In short, at this time, the claim that Kanu threatened banditry appears unsubstantiated. There is no verified first-hand source or news report backing that. What is real is the conviction, widely reported, the life sentence, and the growing tension across segments of the country as the implications sink in. But the bigger question remains, what next for Nigeria? Will the verdict deepen divisions, or will it compel genuine national dialogue about the Southeast, marginalization, self-determination, and justice? Will the volatile mix of separatist agitation, economic hardship, and insecurity feed a spiral of violence, or will cooler heads prevail? As journalists and citizens, we must demand proof before amplifying incendiary claims. We must demand transparency, consistency in law enforcement, and policy that unites rather than divides. When news broke that he had been handed a life sentence, the first reaction across many communities was a mixture of shock, anger, confusion, and fear. Some people immediately started predicting unrest, while others called for calm. At the same time, groups in the southeast expressed that the judgment might escalate tensions unless handled carefully. And again, my people, please, if you're watching this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It helps us reach more people who need clear and truthful updates. Now, one important thing we must understand is this. Whenever there is a major ruling involving a popular figure, narratives start flying left, right, and center. Some people twist statements, some exaggerate, others simply push whatever fits their agenda. That is how headlines like the one we discussed earlier begin to circulate online, making people panic unnecessarily. It is the duty of responsible journalists and even responsible citizens to pause before spreading unverified claims. Nigeria is already dealing with enough challenges. We don't need confusion added on top. Let's look at what this situation means moving forward. The Southeast has long complained of feeling misunderstood, neglected, and unfairly judged. This feeling didn't start today, and it didn't start with Kanu. His arrest and conviction simply reopened old wounds. Many elders in the region are now calling for dialogue rather than confrontation. They argue that if the country fails to talk honestly about grievances, tension will keep rising. You and I know that peace cannot come from force alone. Peace comes when people feel heard. At the same time, the federal government has made it clear that national security cannot be compromised. They insist that Kanu's actions had real consequences and that the law must take its course. But the challenge now is finding balance, a balance where justice does not become an obstacle to unity, and unity does not override fairness. My people, as we break this down, please remember to like this video and subscribe. Encourage responsible conversations, not chaos. Now let's address something extremely important. The fear of unrest. Anytime something major happens in the Southeast, people across Nigeria start worrying, will there be protest? Will there be tension? Will there be shutdowns? These questions are already being whispered. But from what we are seeing now, community leaders and state governments in the region are making strong efforts to ensure that things remain peaceful. They are appealing to youths to avoid emotional reactions. They are urging people to allow the legal process to continue. They are warning against letting misinformation mislead them. But viewers, let us be honest. Peace requires more than appeals. It requires engagement. It requires the government speaking with the people, not just at the people. It requires all sides lowering their voices long enough to hear one another. Nigeria is too big and too complex for silence to solve problems. There is also the political dimension. Some politicians are already positioning themselves, trying to either support or oppose the judgment based on what will favor them in the upcoming political cycles. But Nigerians are wiser now. Emotional politics no longer carries the same power it once did. People want solutions. People want transparency. People want leadership, not drama, and that is why stories like this must be reported carefully, not sensationally. And dear viewers, if you are following this and appreciating the breakdown, please like this video and subscribe. It helps us grow this community of informed Nigerians who want truth without confusion. Another angle worth touching on is how this case could affect future movements in the Southeast. Some groups may feel discouraged. Some may feel empowered. Some may feel that peaceful dialogue is the only path left. Others may try to use the tension to gain influence. That is why Nigerians must stay alert and avoid being manipulated. Because when emotions run high, wrong voices become loud. When people are frustrated, they can easily fall for promises that lead nowhere good. But through it all, one thing is clear. Whether you agree with the judgment or not, Nigeria cannot afford more division. We cannot afford more insecurity. We cannot afford more distrust. We need clarity, fairness, and communication. We need leaders who understand that strength is not only in power. Strength is also in wisdom. My people, let me say it again. If you're still watching and getting value from this analysis, like this video and subscribe. Support this platform so we can continue giving you real-time, well-researched updates without fear or favor.